And what I'm saying now may sound like a counsel of suicide. I'm not talking about that. Do you remember in Ibsen's Wild Duck? The doctor has a statement somewhere in which he says that the wild duck, when wounded, sinks himself into the bottom of the pond, choosing rather to give his life up to the spirit of the waters than to accept life on any terms that life may offer. Father, let the cup pass. I don't want to die. And sweat like drops of blood burst from his forehead. So much yet to do. If I had a little more time to lay more securely the foundation of the kingdom of heaven, so as to guarantee the redemption of man through all the eons and eons and eons that man is on the planet. Just a little more time. Let the cup pass. And then after what seems to him, I'm sure, 1,000 years of agony, he said, nevertheless, I am here on the cross dying. And I'm here following the unfolding of the logic of my life. At the moment of baptism, the heavens opened, the Spirit descended upon me like a dove, and I heard thee say to me with my own ears, Thou art my Son, my beloved. In thee I am well pleased. In the wilderness, you were there. Man must not live by bread alone. Thou shalt worship God, and him only shalt thou serve. You were there. On the Mount of Transfiguration, when the glory was so full that it spilled over into all the universe, you were there. In the garden, when I wrestled and finally came the great resolution, Thy will be done, you were there. And now, I'm dying on the cross. Where are you? My God. My God. Where? And borrowing all Christology for a moment, I feel that in that moment, which, according to the book of Mark, was the last moment that Jesus Christ spent in that section of his life, that in that moment, he made the great transcendent discovery that death is not the worst thing in the world. To live and deny the integrity of my experience of my Father, to accept life on that term, it is better to die. And I do not think, you see, that any person is really has, no, that's wrong. I do not think that any person has been able to transcend the fear of death. Until he discovers in his own little world that there are some things for him that are worse than dying. So the most searching question at this point is there any, can you think of anything in your life rather than to renounce it, you would elect to die? When a man makes that discovery, he loses his fear of death, and the power of death is no longer an ultimate threat to his life. Now, this is why, I'll be through in a minute. This is why dictators are people who wish to cower whole peoples. This is why one of the first things they do when they come into power is to create the kind of fear, anxiety, the kind of social climate, the kind of atmosphere that causes the individuals in the state to place a supreme value on their human life. Now listen to this very carefully. For you see, if I place a supreme value on my life, if you wish to control me, the only thing you need to do is to threaten to kill me. It is the answer of religion, and I will stop now. That only man's deep inner sureness of God, that he experiences life in the second dimension, life that contains both life and death. Then God becomes for him. God, the creator of life, becomes for him the guarantor of life. And this is the word of religion. He comes to us as one unknown, without a name, as he came to the disciples by the lakeside who knew him not. He speaks to us the same language, follow me, and to those who obey him, whether they be wise or simple. He will reveal himself in the sorrows, in the troubles, in the deaths through which they shall pass in his fellowship. And as an ineffable mystery, they shall learn in their own experience who he is. God, the creator of life, is man's final answer to the threat of death. So the psalmist says, Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down sitting and my uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thy hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high. I cannot attain unto it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and fly to the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand hold me, and thy right hand shall steady me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. The darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. And in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious, how precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God, God. How great is the sum of them? If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Search me, O God, and to know my heart. Try me, and to know my thoughts. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Everlasting.